we are going to break down kind of what's going on with the WCC. Of course, I'm talking about the West Coast Conference and not the Wild Cockatoo Coalition.
Sure, because why would we be talking about that, I guess, yeah.
Did you not get my email?
No, I'm not privy to the Wild Cockatoo Coalition.
Oh, that's my bad. I thought you were on the list for sure. I will amend that quickly, but first we got a show to do. Welcome back to Pack in Action, the show largely loved by my mom's Facebook friends and hopefully you. I'm Emma Weightman, and with me, as always, is the lovely and talented Ashtyn Butuso. Now, Ashtyn lost a bet with me this week because the Washington State women won the Pac-12 championship, of course, against the Beavs, 66-52 last Saturday. We're not going to dwell on it very much, but Ashtyn has taken a vow of silence. So she's clearly very upset about it. Please respect her privacy at this time. We're just going to jump right in, though. There you go, and keep it closed. You're probably watching us on Pac-12 Insider on Amazon Prime or on Samsung TV Plus. Ashtyn, I'm going to give you the channel number.
Channel 2392.
Yeah, I'm nice. Or maybe you're catching us on the Pac-12 Conference YouTube. Either way you're watching, we're happy to have you. We've got a really fun show for you today, but before we get into it, we've got some really cool guests. We are going to break down kind of what's going on with the WCC. Of course, I'm talking about the West Coast Conference and not the Wild Cockatoo Coalition.
Sure, because why would we be talking about that, I guess, yeah. Did
you not get my email?
No, I'm not privy to the Wild Cockatoo Coalition.
Oh, that's my bad. I thought you were on the list for sure. I will amend that quickly, but first we got a show to do. So I'm going to kick things off talking about, of course, Washington State men's basketball. They are leading the conference right now. Technically, they're tied, but if you Google it, it goes Washington State, St. Mary's. So I'm taking that as a win because I will take just about anything as a win. I am known for that. We are 7-0 at home. I'm excited. I'm hitting a game in February. I can't wait to take that in. We are 3-0 in conference play. And the next game up is tonight. If you're watching this as it airs on Thursday, we're playing Pacific. And I really just hope that they do not get themselves trapped because we have Gonzaga on Saturday. But I'm not saying the name because neither are they. Lift your speaking. You're allowed to speak now.
Yeah, thank you. I was actually going to anyway. I was just going to advocate for myself and speak anyways. Yeah, huge. For the Oregon State side, the men are kind of like in the upper middle tier of the conference. They're trying to turn this 0-2 away streak around, which has been a point of contention for Beavs fans. We're familiar with the fact that we can never win on the road. It's very frustrating. I have faith. I think we're going to figure it out, but that's currently where we sit. This weekend, we've got a couple big games as this airs. We're playing Santa Clara potentially if you're watching this then. Or it already happened and we won, I bet. And then we've got Pacific as well. So big weekend. And then on the women's side, the Lady Beavs are slowly crawling up the conference ladder. We're sitting at 6th right now. And if you recall, we gave them tough love and said, it's time to get your ish together. And they kind of have. Yeah. So we're warning you, watch the space. They're just getting started. 3-2 in conference play, but they also might be playing at the time that you're watching this, or it already happened and we won against USF. It was a huge upset. Wow, that was crazy.
Yeah, that definitely happened. Mm-hmm. Washington State women as well they're crushing it, I think. I'm biased, but of course. We're 3rd in the conference right now, 4-1, and really seem to be getting into a solid rhythm. But I am not going to dwell on that too much alone because we have a special guest, the one and only Tara Wallack, is joining the show. But that's later, so stick around because for now, Oregon State football finally gets their moment in the sun. There's a lot of transition happening there, but you have a family member who is especially upset at kind of the arc of last season, don't you?
Yep, roll the tape.
They didn't win any games?
No.
Does that make you sad?
Yes.
That makes you sad?
So what you saw there was my niece crying because she learned that the Beavs wouldn't be playing in a bowl game. And we're going to discuss now some changes within the program that hopefully will make for a happier toddler in my sister's household. Here to do that with us is former Beaver running back, now sports reporter at 11 Alive News, Marcus Greaves. Marcus, thank you for joining us.
Thank you guys so much for having me. Anytime we're talking Oregon State, I am Juice, so I'm ready. I'm bringing the energy today.
Yes, that's what we need. That's what we need because we're feeling a little like quiet today. So we need some juice. Let's just sort of to reintroduce you to our fan base. You were with the program up until 2016, of course, as a running back. You've seen some highs, you've seen some lows. Are you still in touch with anyone involved in the program now?
Yeah, a few guys. Obviously my old teammates. That's easy. We send each other memes all the time. Now, when
Sure.
it comes to the coaching staff, anytime I go back to Oregon State, I see Coach Bray and I talk to Coach Bray. He was a linebacker coach when I was there, my freshman and sophomore year. So anytime I see him, we joke around because he used to yell at me at scout team and be like, "Man, run this route right, or what are you doing, man? Come on." So anytime I see him, I have a good time. But um, you know just people seeing them around the equipment staff, all those guys. I still know all of them, so I usually send them messages every here and there. And
Oh.
even when Oregon State loses, I get a little upset and send them messages that they need to play better.
So you could tell that Bray was kind of destined for leadership because he was already getting on you.
Yeah, which it's funny too because at first I was like, that's a big jump for Coach Bray, but then once you look back and you actually think about Coach Bray, you're not going to find a smarter actual football coach than
Hmm.
Coach Bray. I mean, the
Yeah.
guy's a genius and he has a passion, which at the end of the day, isn't that all we want? We just want someone who, all jokes aside, is going to stay in Corvallis. He's gonna
Yes.
enjoy no shade there. Stay in Corvallis, understands how it goes, and just invest in the not just the community and not just Oregon State in general, but the football program and the players because that's all they really want.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Ooh, I was a student when he was a GA, I guess, and I never said it out loud really to anyone. I wasn't like emphatic enough, but it is a big regret of mine that I wasn't like, he's gonna be a head
Oh
coach
yeah.
someday because like you could tell back then he's like people talk about football guys like he's
Mhm.
a football guy.
Yeah,
Um,
there's a couple times in scout team where I would just go over and I would just start talking to him about football. I was like, hey, like I know I made this cut this way, and it kind of got your defensive guys a little sprint, out of position or whatever it was. Explain that to me. He's like, oh, that's because you did this, you read this right, and they should have read it like that. I was like,
mm,
whoa, like brother, I just want to make sure I did the right thing so I don't get yelled at. But explain it to me, man. I'm listening. So yeah, you knew from the jump not only his football IQ was high, but his passion for the game, and he's a student of the game, which is obviously to be a head coach and to work up as quick as he did. I mean, you have to.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Well, there's so much to cover in terms of all the happenings. In fact, like just before this record, it was officially announced that we have two new coaches, and then I'd also like to start before that even with the Malik Murphy Duke
Mm,
transfer news, which also led to the departure of beloved quarterback Ben Gulbranson. It
mm.
feels like this might be the first non-quarterback competition we've had since like maybe Jake Luton, if I'm
Yeah.
remembering correctly, which feels crazy. What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I'm just excited because I think, and this is no shade to any quarterbacks, of course, but
Sure.
when you get a guy who can come in and for a fact he is the number one, then things can kind of, roll on a little quicker.
Yeah.
Sometimes when you have a guy who you have some, say three quarterbacks in a room, you guys are all trying to battle it out. Well, we got to figure out, maybe this quarterback is really great at this. This quarterback might be able to use his legs a little better, but oh, this quarterback has a better deep ball. So then you got to kind of figure out depending on the offense, what you want to do situation wise. But it seems like Malik Murphy is a full package. I'm excited because, again, from what I read, he is the top or the highest rated quarterback that Oregon State has ever had. So that's beautiful.
Wow.
I don't
Yeah.
know if that's something I'd hear in a long time, but I'm
Yeah.
excited for him because the kid is talented. He's smart. And watching him play, of course, you guys know I'm still an Oregon State fanatic. So,
Of course.
the
Yeah.
second he signed there, not only was I jumping through my newsroom here in Atlanta, but I went and watched all the film. I was like, thank you. I was talking to my coworkers. I was like, listen, y'all might be in the SEC, but you don't want to see Oregon State. That's all I'm saying. I say Oregon State now. Yeah, I think it's going to be big. And another thing, maybe not to branch off too much, but when you sign a guy like Malik Murphy, who probably had offers from, Alabama, Ohio State, all those, the big blue blood schools, it
Mhm.
also shows you that Oregon State is still relevant. And I think a
Yeah.
lot of people are kind of
Yeah.
debating if that was going to be the case. And
Mhm.
so to the haters out there, I'm sorry, we sure are.
We're gonna
Let's
clip
go.
that. We're gonna post it everywhere.
Yeah.
That's gonna be our
Exactly.
lead.
Come on.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's all I need to hear.
Let's go. Okay, so what gaps do you think we still need to fill on this roster? I mean, I know we've obviously added a couple of tight ends in Riley Williams from Miami, Jackson Boyers from BYU, so feels like tight ends at least kind of well represented. I know we have a slew of other transfers, but what are you looking for still at this point?
Yeah, I think a lot of it too is depth at corner. I was a little surprised, and a lot of linebackers as well. I was really hurt to see a lot of the guys go on defense because I think the defense was really good. I just think they were young, especially
Yeah.
this last season. They had a lot of young guys that they had to throw out into the fire, and I think they stepped up about as good as you can. But at the
Yeah.
same time, if this is your first experience playing college football, going out there and say, hey, go guard go guard Tej Johnson, one of the best receivers in the entire country.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a tall task for anybody, regardless how many years you have of experience. So I would like to see the defense have a little more depth. And it's surprisingly, being here and covering SEC football now with Georgia and all that, Kirby Smart, every time I go talk to him and interview him, a lot of the things that he says now is that the transfer portal has taken depth away from almost every team. So it's every position. No matter what it is, no matter what the team, you need some depth, and you just don't have that anymore because, a lot of guys who are maybe second string and getting a lot of playing time say, oh, I'm going to go somewhere else where I know I can start. And of course they should. That's how the transfer portal works. But at the end of the day, it makes it that much tougher to get a lot of depth in a lot of positions and feel comfortable that if one guy goes down, good thing we have another guy backing him up, that's really talented and that can make an impact on the game.
Let's talk a little bit about what I consider Oregon State to be is sort of a running back RBU. Over the years, we've said goodbye to Coach Ford, who is on to coach his own team, which is amazing, and we're all excited about that. So now we're bringing in Ray Pickering, and then we're also now just announced, like I said, Will Heck will be the tight ends coach. What are your thoughts on these new hires? Do you have any expectations? Do you have any thoughts? I know the tight ends position the tight ends coaching sort of departure wasn't a huge surprise. But what are your thoughts on maybe the filling the running back spot?
Yeah. And the thing is, I think anybody who comes to Oregon State to coach running backs, there's going to be expectations because Oregon State is known, like you said, for having fantastic running backs, talented running backs. And I loved Coach Ford. And I'm not sure if you guys saw it on Twitter. When the rumors started floating around, I was like, Coach, man, I don't have a whole lot of money in this bank account, but I'm willing to empty it out for you, brother, if you're staying. Probably not head coaching money, but I was going to give it a shot.
I would have thrown down two for the record.
And I haven't done my entire research yet on their new running back coach. I did a little bit, and what I saw was he was enthusiastic, which I think is a big thing for a former running back like myself. You need a coach who's going to kind of motivate you to say, listen, you guys have to understand, regardless of how the offense looks or whatever our schemes are, it's going to start with us. If you can establish the run, if you can get your running backs motivated, that's going to give an offense that much more of an identity, like we've seen in games this last season where once the run game started going for Oregon State, anything could happen. We would see them take deep shots. We would see them get more guys involved, whether that be play action, whatever you want to say. But as long as you get a running back coach, in my mind, that's enthusiastic and obviously understands, which I always say, you got to understand how to read when you're running. And that's the easiest thing in the world. Now, does everybody do it? No, but I'm 100% confident this coach is going to come in and he's going to establish that. But I know Coach Bray has, like I said, a fantastic football IQ. And regardless of who he hires, I'm sure it was the right pick.
Yeah, I agree. I have full faith. Well, you're absolutely killing it. We love to see fellow Beavs winning. Where can people find you? What's your situation right now? How do we engage with you on social or on TV or whatever it is?
Yeah, so you can find all of my work on either 11alive.com or you can follow me on all social media platforms. That'd be TikTok. They don't call it Twitter anymore. I'm getting old. X, Instagram, whatever you want to call it, Blue Sky. All of that is just Marcus Greaves _. Just know, come football season, whenever there's Oregon State anything, for the folks who have seen the tweets, I go absolutely ballistic. And there's been a few times in here that I had on the big screen in the studio, Oregon State, and they were like, who is this team? And I just say, y'all be quiet. I'm watching my game right now. So I am embedded into Oregon State culture for the rest of my life.
Yep.
And you guys can, whether you want to reach out to me on there, send me emails, it doesn't matter. Whatever works, you guys can reach out. We can talk Oregon State ball all the time. I'm always down.
Well, yeah, thank you for joining us. We'll have you on again then, it sounds like, if you're
Of course.
interested.
Y'all just throw up the
Amazing.
bat signal. And
Let's
I'm
go.
here.
Okay, great. Well, stick with us. Tara Wallack joins us next when we come back.
Welcome back to Pack in Action. We have a very exciting special guest from you guys. I'm gonna try to do the voice, the like senior guard from Canada, number one on the court, number one in our hearts. It's about time that we can make that connection. Tara Wallack, welcome to Pack in Action. We are so excited to have you.
Yes, thank you so much for having me.
I think this is gonna be a blast. So, how are you doing, first and foremost?
I'm doing great. The school just started. I'm in Pilates and self-defense, so pretty easygoing semester.
Oh, you're allowed to do that as a student athlete. They let you take self-defense. They don't mind.
Yeah, well, I'm done my major right now, so it's just more to keep my eligibility and have fun.
Yeah.
And,
Nice. What were you majoring in?
Communication.
Oh, fun. Okay. And that's good when you communicate that you're going to take somebody down real quick. So that's good that you have that in your back pocket as well. Yeah. Well, speaking of school and your major being done, I know you're a senior. Senior night's going to be a little lonely for you this year. Are you how are you feeling about that?
You know, I tend not to think about it because it does make me really sad knowing I'm the only one leaving. But it's also super exciting knowing what else is out there and what else I'm going to do for next year. So it's a little bittersweet type of situation, but I'm excited for it.
Well, before we get to that point in life, you've been to the NCAA tournament twice. Let's talk a little bit about that and what the atmosphere is like there, because let's reflect positively on how this is all going to end once we get there again.
Yeah. You know, I went my freshman year and sophomore year, and that was just something I've always watched and like hoped of going to growing up, and I never thought it was possible, or I didn't really understood what it was like or understood how good the teams are and how you actually have to make it to March Madness. It's not like every team gets to go. So I think my freshman year, I'm like, oh yeah, we're going. Like, it's always like this. And the sophomore year, I truly understand, like, no, it's actually like you have to make it to March Madness. It's not given. So it was just super cool experience, and like just like the atmosphere and the vibe there. It's like you're celebrities in a way, and it was just super cool doing that. Like, as I said, my freshman and sophomore year, and just having that experience has helped me now as a senior, knowing that that is something that I want my team to strive for, because most of the girls on the team don't know what it's like at March Madness, and so that's just something that is one of our goals this season.
I love that. Well, speaking of tournaments, we have a little history, you and me. I have a tattoo in the honor of the Pac-12 Women's Championship. I had to wear the shirt too. I just figured I'd really lean in. If you win the WCC, do I have to get another tattoo?
You know, I think you have to, and I will get a matching tattoo with you, because
oh my gosh,
we were joking during the Pac-12 tournament how, like, if we win, we should get tattoos, and then we won, and then we never got to tattoos. So WSU, if we win the WCC, it is happening.
Okay, well, fabulous. What are you both going to get? Because, Emma, you have the logo already.
I have Go Cougs already, but it's in the font. I had someone send me the athletic deck, so I have it in the font. I would show it, but as I'm not a Pilates, I am not flexible at all. As we've established now twice in a row that I can't bend my leg. So I would show my ankle, but the way that would be so bad. That does not go well for me.
Yeah.
But so what would we get?
That's the thing, I don't know what it would be. Yeah. We would probably have to talk about this.
Maybe like a crown for like champs or something.
Yeah.
That would be cute, yeah.
So getting back to brass tacks here, I know I've established a little bit of a fan. Coach E has just seemed like a really great leader. She stuck it through. You stuck it through as well with all this conference changing around. What would you say is the biggest thing you've learned about leadership that you implement on the team?
You know, it's kind of different because I've never been a type of player to have a big voice in the gym. And so these last few years kind of forced me into that position, and Coach E has forced me into that loud voice in the gym because my voice is very high, as you can tell, and it's not something very loud or something people can hear across the gym. So Coach E has kind of taught me to just be uncomfortable in situations and kind of like force this out of me. And she also has taught me that, like, off the court, she can tell I'm an amazing human, nice, everything. On the court, she's like, sometimes I don't know if you're a good teammate. And I was like, what? Like, what do you mean by that? And she's like, well, you need to be high-fiving everyone. You need to support everyone. You need to, all these things that I think, like, my former teammate Charlie did a really good job in, and someone who I look up to. And so I often go to her for advice. I often go to Ula, or another former teammate of mine, because they were great leaders and people I still look up to this day. And it's just, they put teammates first, and they always thought about how other people will feel in different situations, or whatever someone is going through. You have to be that person to be able to, like, have that shoulder for them to cry on, to listen to. And that's just something that I thought I had, but I didn't realize it's actually, like, going out and making sure everyone's okay. And especially being the only senior, like, having everyone kind of understand that everyone comes from, especially my team, we're so international. We have 3 Americans on the team, that everyone comes from a different country, speaks a different language, is so far away from home, and is probably so homesick that there's so many, like, outside factors that play into what's already going on the basketball court. So it's just understanding that and being able to support everyone in different types of situations.
So my question, this is a Canada question, and it's going to sound really naive and American, but is Tim Hortons, like, really all that, or is there another coffee chain that we need to get behind?
I thought Tim Hortons was like a hot dog place or something.
No, I thought it was coffee.
Sorry, you just cut off for a second, but I heard Tim Hortons.
Good or bad, or like underrated, overrated?
What is it?
Okay.
It's a coffee shop. I always go whenever I'm home. It's very good.
So are you guys feeling ready for the rest of the conference play? I know you just kind of got started in it, but you're starting pretty hot, I think, I'd say.
Yeah, I think we're ready. Since the whole team is pretty much new, it's kind of unexpected because we haven't played these teams before. I haven't played most of these teams before, so it's just going into it one game at a time. And I think we have a good open mind about things, and we take each practice seriously about who we're about to play against and respect our opponents. So I think we're in a good spot right now.
Awesome. Well, we are looking forward to watching you on the court for the rest of the season. Thank you so much for joining us. This has been a blast. We'll have more Pack in Action when we come back. Well, we have had just the time of our lives talking with our guests today, Marcus and Tara. Thank you guys so much for coming on the show. We are so lucky. I think about this all the time, how lucky we are that everyone who comes on is just so cool and funny and smart and talented and excellent.
Well, yeah, that's kind of like our vibe. So it's kind of you attract the love you give in return, love thy neighbor type situation.
So true.
So we're just praying for a Jade Carey appearance here in the next few episodes. Jade, give us a call, girlfriend. We'd love to have you on.
Yeah, and I mean, while we're at it, if we're manifesting our favorite Olympians, I would love Klay Thompson. This is an open invite. You just let me know if you're actually happy in Dallas or if you need to blink twice. We will get that sorted.
And if you are watching us on YouTube, let us know in the comments who you want to see on. If you follow us on social, you can let us know there as well.
Where we are at Pack in Action Show, pretty much everywhere you get your content. It's my New Year's resolution to be better at posting. So you can see us yap here, you can see us yap there, and you can see us yap next week when we're back, when we're Pack in Action.
Yeah.